do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and winning and always faster and faster and faster.
Well, welcome back everybody to With Antone MotoGP 2025, and it's pretty quiet out there in the season break. So I thought I'd take the opportunity today to take a look at some of the questions I've been getting from people making comments. I want to look at a little bit of an explainer and cover some of the basics of what MotoGP is all about. And I hope this really goes some way to helping those people out there that are maybe new to the sport or just wanting to understand a little bit more about the sport. So let's start off with the first one. What is Moto Grand Prix? Well, it's the top level of motorcycle racing in the world. People compare it to Formula One, but it's just the top level. It started, when did it start? It started in 1949, which makes it the oldest motorsport world championship on the planet. It used to be known as the 500cc World Championship. And races are global. They're races all over the world. Okay, the second part I want to talk about is what are the classes? Now everybody talks about MotoGP, Moto Grand Prix, but there's three classes. You've got the MotoGP, the Moto2 and the Moto3. Premier class, MotoGP. Now that they run 1000cc four-stroke engines. So what you've got there is the fastest, most advanced bikes with the biggest names and the best riders in the world. This class, MotoGP, is the best of the best bikes. So to run in MotoGP, you have to have a prototype bike. That means it can't be based on a production bike. It can't, it's not street legal. It can't use any parts that aren't solely developed. Talk about speed, 350 kilometers per hour. That's over 220 miles per hour. Now these bikes are all custom built by the factory teams, Ducati, Yamaha, Honda, and KTM, and Aprilia. So these bikes are built from the ground up. They build the engine, they build the chassis or the frame. Let's talk about the riders. Now, each of these riders are champions in their own right. You don't get on this grid unless you ride fast. And when I say fast, I mean really fast. These guys are elite athletes. They're fit, they're strong, and they're highly skilled at what they do. You don't get on the grid if you're not that. Now, you talk about people like Marc Marquez, Fabio Quartararo, Mr. Go Free, Bagnaia, Jorge Martin, Pedro Acosta. 5, I want to talk about the teams and the manufacturers. So you've got factory teams, Ducati Lenovo, Castrol Honda, Red Bull KTM, and Aprilia Racing. And then you've got the second group, let's talk about them as a group, which we call satellite teams, Gresini, Pramac, Trackhouse, LCR, and Tech 3. Okay, 6, a race weekend format. This causes a bit of confusion. So, MotoGP we're talking now. Friday, there's free practice, and then there's practice for qualifying. First free practice doesn't count for anything, but the actual practice determines who gets in the top 10 for qualifying. So that Friday session is really important. Okay, the top 10 riders go through to Q qualifying 2. Balance of the riders go through to qualifying 1, and then the top 2 riders from qualifying 1 join the 10 fastest. Saturday, we run the qualifying. So where you finish in qualifying determines your grid position. And we run the sprint race. The same grid position from that qualification is used for the Sunday main Grand Prix. Okay, 7, points and the championship. So the point system is easy. Top 15 score points in the Grand Prix main race on Sunday, and the top 9 score in the sprint race on the Saturday. Sprint race, which is not a Grand Prix, it's just a race. First position gets 12, second position gets 9, and third position gets 7. First position in a Grand Prix, you get 25 points. Second, you get 20 points. Third, you get 16. There's 22 rounds per season. Okay, a big part of MotoGP are the tyres and the technical component. There's a single tyre supplier, which is Michelin. They run carbon brakes. Some riders opting to use even a thumb-operated rear brake. The strategy and the setup determine the performance. So you need a combination of your technology, your motorbike, and your tyres. Tyres are critical. Electronics play a huge part. You've got traction control, launch control. Now, launch control is when you see them come to the grid and they flick the buttons and the bike lowers down and almost turns into a dragster. Launch control. And ride height device. You see the bikes as they come out of the corner, the back drops down. This is ride height. And the other huge component is aerodynamics. So you can see the wings on the front of the bike. Okay, that's a lot of information. I hope that I've got that across to you. But why for me, in a couple of last points, why is MotoGP so special? Well, you do not get this level of rider competing against each other. Now, I know Marc Marquez is dominating this year, but these other guys, if you were to go out and watch these guys go around the track, and trust me, if you haven't been to a race, you should really get along and see one, then you realize exactly how fast these guys are. They're unbelievably quick. The times and the tenths of seconds that separate them. And the racing is very close. There's very rarely team orders. It's very rarely do the teams say to one rider, drop back or do this or do that. And really the raw talent of the rider, it counts for more. The riders make the difference. Two identical bikes, Mr. Go Free Bagnaia versus Marc Marquez. Marc Marquez is making the difference. Fabio Quartararo on Yamaha versus the Alex Rins. Fabio Quartararo's making the difference. Okay, so final point, how to start watching. Well, there's the MotoGP official app. You can go and download that if you don't have it. You can watch and consume on your local television station. You can follow the riders on social media. You can watch YouTube highlights, or even better, you can subscribe to With Antone MotoGP 2025 and follow the season. Anyway, thanks for today. I thought I'd drop this one in, and if you've liked it today, then please give us a thumbs up, and I'd love to get a subscription. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, bye for now.